Just a day away from Hollywoodbets Durban July race day, which will be Saturday the 1st of July. But we are going to be previewing the show for racing on Sunday, which is the 2nd of July out at Turffontein. And we are racing on the stand-side track with the first race set to get underway at 12:20. We've got 8 races on the program. And as I mentioned, first at 12:20 will be the start of the bar pot. And I'm joined by Alistair Cohen on the line. Alistair, how are you doing?
Yeah, real good, thanks. Obviously, after what I'm sure will be the highs of the Hollywoodbets Durban July 2, a useful card at Turffontein on Sunday, the day after. It's traditionally a bit of a setup for Gold Cup Day. There were initially 3 Pinnacle Stakes that were on the schedule. 2 of them never stood, but we've got a Pinnacle Stakes which might see 1 or 2 horses with a look on the Mercury Sprint. I don't know if the winner of the Mercury Sprint will be in there, but there was also a long-distance Pinnacle Stakes, which is traditionally a builder for the Gold Cup for horses based on the half vault, and also a nice 1600 meter Pinnacle, which is normally a bit of a build-up for the Champions Cup. But sadly, those 2 races have been scrapped and replaced with handicaps. But I think all in all, we can gain a bit of ground. Hopefully Saturday goes well, and hopefully Sunday will be the cherry on the top of a big weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, race number 1, your favorite is number 1, Green Bubbles at 17-10. It's 2-1 about Primrose Path, and then Shampimpi is at 28-10. Now, this filly Shampimpi, on debut, you did mention that she'll be doing her best work at the finish, and she's one to keep an eye on going forward, especially when she goes over a bit more ground. And last time out, she met the boys at Formula and has worked out, and obviously give me another chance, a huge runner come Saturday to win the Golden Horseshoe. But I think this filly could certainly come through and get the victory in this lineup. It's quite a moderate field.
Yeah, she'll go very close here, Raheel. Obviously high expectations for her. Last time she pulled, she was an absolute nightmare. She didn't settle, and she returned coughing. Everything that could go wrong went wrong with number 7, Shampimpi, last time out. So just given her a bit of time to get over that and come back. Gavin Larina has worked her, was very happy with her. You know, obviously, the valid excuses for the run. She ran 11 lengths behind a very high-quality horse in the form of Gimme Another Chance. At the time, it was a hugely disappointing run. It's still a run where there were excuses, but when you look at Gimme Another Chance and the horses that were in behind and the horses that ran just in front of Shampimpi, maybe it wasn't such a bad effort after all. I think that form is easily the best on offer. The horse who deserved to win and that's ready to win is number 2, Primrose Path. So the bar pot is my suggested bet on the card. I've gone with numbers 2 and 7 as the horses I'm going to revolve around, but I'll go with the improving 2-year-old as the top selection, number 7 Shampimpi over number 2 Primrose Path. But to be fair, I don't think there'll be too much between them. Number 1 Green Bubbles, pretty much in the same boat as Primrose Path, knocking on the door, deserves a win, will probably win soon, and she could be the next home.
Well, if you want to be safe, you can go numbers 1, 2 and 7, but you could take your chances and maybe even bank horse number 7, Shampimpi, the top selection in race number 1. Now we'll move along to race number 2, which will get the place accumulator underway, 1400 meters a trip, and this race jumps at 10-1. Favorite is Viva de Janeiro from the Johan Janssen van Vuuren yard at 15-10. It's then Archimedes at 9-2, 5-1, and Better Bar. There was now this horse going over 1400. I think now that he's had 4 rounds, it could actually be the right trip for him. He obviously went over 1450 at the second start. He seemed to be a bit lost green, and he just never really went on with the effort. But this looks to be the right type of race. If he's going to get the job done, he could possibly get it done in this event at this time of his career.
It's a bit of a weird one, Raheel, because Viva de Janeiro is overdue, and he's been a horse that I've followed for a while. Not thinking that he's going to Hollywood by any stretch, and not thinking that he's suddenly going to win 5 in a row and end up in group races. But well overdue, but a bit costly to follow. He's related to that horse Viva Rio, who ran second in the Cape Guineas just before COVID. When was that? 2019. Got exported to Hong Kong. And number 2, Viva de Janeiro, is just taking his time. I agree with you. I think the 1400 meters now at this stage of his career is probably what he's looking for. At his penultimate start, he kind of got run off his feet and did his best work late to run 3rd behind Fully Loaded. Second in that race was Nazare, who subsequently ran 2nd at Hollywoodbets Greyville behind a nice horse from Dean Kennemayer's yard, and then won a good race at Turffontein. Actually, quite a pleasant surprise. Maybe there's a future there after all. So I think that number 2, Viva de Janeiro, has got the credentials to get out the maidens here, but I don't think it'll be a one-way traffic. I think this first time in number 5, Fun Mail, from a horrible draw. Being a half-brother to Captain Fontaine from a famous Shivali family. There's all sorts of champions. Bella's from that family and a number of others as well. It'd be interesting to see how he goes. It would not be Sean Terry's style to start a horse as a rising 4-year-old. Alas, that's the hand he's been dealt with this number 5. And then number 8 on the card, I think, is open to improve. Alec Laird's yards come very well. 8 Golden Pavilion, I think, comes from 2 nice form runs. The first run behind Ready to Charge. Ready to Charge ran second to Jerusalem Rain subsequently. In behind, there was horses like Dolcezza who ran behind Ready to Charge. So I think that form looks a little bit better than the numbers at the end of the column. And then last time behind MK's Dreams, I think that's a horse that's going to be above average. So number 8 Golden Pavilion, probably the horse with the most scope to improve. So they're the 3 I'm going to have a good look at in the bar pot. I'll put the 3 into the bar pot, numbers 2, 5 and 8.
Yeah, that's 2, 5 and 8 for Alistair. And yeah, number 8 could be some decent value at around 10 to 1 as opposed to the 15 to 10 favourite who's a horse that, as Alistair mentioned, has been a bit costly to follow. Race number 3 will be the start of the pick 6, 25 past 1, 2,000 metres the distance. And third race on the programme, Banner Bridge, your 17 to 10 favourite. 5 to 2 over to you, 6 to 1 and better bar those. Alistair, straight over to you with horse number 1, Banner Bridge, who enjoys the distance.
He's fit, he's in good form, he hasn't missed a stake check all season, despite top weight. I think this is the right type of race for him. There was a 2,400 metre race on the day as well, which he was declared in, but sadly that race didn't stand. He's got over to you, held on the run to Mambo Camtasia, albeit not by much, but I think the fitness edge might just help number 1, Banner Bridge. I think he'll take all the beating. There's an indirect line of form with Total Surrender, but I think Total Surrender's just a real developer. So the fact that over to you beat Total Surrender and Total Surrender beat Banner Bridge and on indirect weight terms over to you might have an edge. I think Total Surrender's just gaining in confidence, gaining in strength. So the fact that the sort of were runs apart, that over to you's run came on the 6th of June and Banner Bridge came on the 22nd of June. I think the improvement between 2 weeks from Total Surrender needs to be considered. So I think number 1, Banner Bridge in a PA and bar pot. I've gone 1 and 2 in the bar pot, funny enough, but in the PA I'd certainly be prepared to bank him. I think he can win the race. He's in the same heart, the same form at home as he was throughout the entire season. He's loving his racing. He's a rising 7-year-old. He's showing no signs of stopping. In the pick 6, I'd go 1 and 2. And the other horse that I think has actually got a bit of a hope here is number 5, Indian War Dance. He's been running in the wrong races in his last 2. I don't think he'll be all that far away from trap number 1. I think he too would have also preferred the 2,400 metre race that was on the day, but this is the hand he's been dealt. He's been costly to follow number 5, Indian War Dance, so I'll go with the reliable factor of number 1, Banner Bridge. If not winning, going very, very close. Yeah, 1 and 2 do look to be the 2 horses that could potentially fight out the finish in the third race, but we're all hoping that horse number 1, Banner Bridge, can get that 7th career victory and notch up another one over course and distance. Next up, race number 4, and race number 4 is the classified stakes of 1,160 metres. And your favourite is Civil Princess at 33 to 10, 9 to 2 about Silent War, along with Dancing Dora, 11 to 2 and better bar those. Now, Alistair, this filly Civil Princess, she was all the rage on debut, expected to win, she won. Second time out, expected to win, she did not do that. Third time, disappointing. Fourth time, slightly better performance, but this filly, she seems to probably have issues, if that's a fair statement. I think that's a fair statement, because in the last 3 starts, something misreported by jockey and vets found nothing untoward. I don't like this race at all. I've gone with number 3, Civil Princess, but her reputation precedes her, unfortunately. She's got a searing reputation, but sadly with 1 run, and to be fair, beating Rocking the Time Away, who's in this race as well, for lightweight. But if you look at Rocking the Time Away, a 1-time winner from 26 starts, that's a feather in your cap, but it's not an albatross feather, it's a pigeon feather. So number 3, Civil Princess, you know, the fact that she's still got she should have some improvement to come. I'll lean towards her rating drop. Something's got to give with her. She's got to show something now. This is the right type of time and place. If not, then I'm afraid I might just send her to the scrap heap myself. Number 4, Inventrix, is my backup, but I'm actually a bit uneasy with number 4, Inventrix. Gone down to Hollywoodbets Greyville twice in quick succession. The first time was for a win, but the second time was a fair run behind Double Dream and trying to employ the same tactics. Probably didn't get home over 1,200 meters. 1160 is much of a match. Maybe she's a 1,000-meter horse. Maybe I'm talking myself out of number 4, Inventrix, but down the straight, drawn towards the outside, that's got to be an advantage. The more I look at this race, the more I actually think number 9, Rocking the Time Away, might be the right backup for number 3, Civil Princess, and 4, Inventrix. So in your pick 6s, include number 9, Rocking the Time Away, likewise the jackpot. But I think this is the right opening for number 3, Civil Princess. So I'd tip her on top, but with no degree of confidence. This was number 1, Silent War, has me totally flummoxed because I can't understand why he's back in a sprint. I know that his best run in Joburg was over 1,100 meters, but his form in Cape Town is good enough to win a mile, and it's good enough to win 3 miles in Joburg, if you have a look at all the Cape horses that are relocating to Joburg. So I can't really work out the angle there. So number 1, Silent War, keeps me interested. He got scratched, of course, on Thursday, so it'll be interesting to see if he takes his place. I think he's a bit of a head scratcher.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw one horse into the mix. That's number 8, Della Sword. I think she's a horse that's a better sprinter than she is going over a trip. And now that she's got just 50.5 on the back, she's dropped in the ratings. Whether that one draw up the lane is going to be a disadvantage for, only time will tell. But I think at around 14 to 1 in the market, she could be some decent value in race number 4, which looks to be an ultra competitive race, and a race where you possibly want to include the field. Next up, race number 5. It's a Pinnacle Stakes over 1,160 meters. 14:35 the time you need to get your bets on by. Kiss Me Captain, the talented Kiss Me Captain, is your favorite at 19 to 10. Second last time out, ran a game race behind Cold Fact. It's 4 to 1 about Marigold Hotel after her short but very good stint here in KZN. 5 to 1 Mercantor, 8 to 1 about Bon Vivant, 10 to 1 and Better Bar those. Now, it's another competitive event where obviously the fillies top the best weighted column here, and I'm interested to see how this race sort of unfolds. What's your take on it?
Well, there's going to be a ton of pace with Roll with the Punches, who I think is a live runner here, Raheel, drawn towards the outside. I don't think he was himself last time out. I hope that his experience on Champions Day when he was scratched in the computer form sprint hasn't kind of put him off, but he is blistering fast, number 3, Roll with the Punches. Raymond Danielson takes a ride. He's won from one of this horse as well when beating Val d'Orsia over this course and distance, so maybe the stars are aligned for another backup. I think he needed his last run. I also think they were a little bit sort of hesitant with number 3, Roll with the Punches, after his experiences on Champions Day. So I'm going to take the run to Princess Keller on trust and say that if you can run 5, I know it's 5 1/4 lengths, but if you can run 5 1/4 lengths to Princess Keller in a receipt of 1.5 kilos, then you've got to be good enough to win a race like this. So number 3, Roll with the Punches, although not my top choice, is a horse I respect, but I think that'll set it up for a horse like number 8, Kiss Me Captain, who was run off her feet in the Camellia Stakes last time and couldn't make up the ground on what became a sticky track after the downpour on Champions Day. Now, this looks like a setup for a race in the future. To be fair, you can make that argument with a whole lot of horses in this race. She's obviously got a lot of ability, does number 8, Kiss Me Captain. She's an out-and-out sprinter. I can't see her winning anything of substance over 1,400 meters. She might win a Pinnacle over 1,400, but not a group race. But number 8, Kiss Me Captain, this is the right type of race. As you mentioned, the best weighted column points in her direction. Very good filly, and should be bang there. And then number 1, Mercantor. Now, I know that Stuart Pettigrew was desperate to run him in the Post Merchants on Hollywoodbets Durbanville July Day, but his draw was just too bad to send him in the float. So I don't know whether the Mercury Sprint's an option for number 1, Mercantor. Put it like this, I think it'll be very hard to beat Gimme a Prince in the Mercury Sprint, so I can't see any of these horses winning, but I can see a horse like Mercantor and even Kiss Me Captain getting into the money in the Mercury Sprint. So just watch out for the prep run angle for some of these horses. I think number 1, Mercantor's warranted his place at the top of the weights with 60 kilos off a rating of 1:160. He's a good, solid, hardy sprinter and shouldn't be all that far away. Talking myself in circles here, but I think the improvers, I think the youngsters, Mercantor and Kiss Me Captain, are 2 horses to watch, and then the speed of Roll with the Punches on a fast track might just play into his hands.
Yeah, maybe even Valdorcia is one to include into the mix. He enjoys the course and distance, and yeah, his last start would have brought him on nicely, and with just 54 on the back, he could be a horse at each way odds to get involved into the mix here. Race number 6, 1,000 meters the distance. This is a middle stakes that gets underway at 3:10. And the 6th race on the program, Flower Bomb. She loves the trip, and I think it's a positive for this filly that she's got Chase Mojan aboard. She's going over 1,000 again, so I think she'll go close. Big Eyed Girl, she's just found such good form of late. She's now a 5-time winner. She's another one that's got to go into the mix. And then Mythical Dream, who would have desperately needed a last start. I think she would have come on tons with that run. And I actually think she's a horse that could give the top 2 in the market a huge run for their money, because prior to that race, she was in some cracking form.
I think it's evident that Johan Janssen van Vuren's kept this race alive with 4 of the 8 runners coming from his yard. So just watch the scratchings here. Judging by, well, I suppose you can't judge by jockey arrangements because Gavin Lerena couldn't ride the other 3. 54.5 would require him chopping off a leg. So maybe don't read too much into the fact that he's riding number 3, Big Eyed Girl, also drawn towards the inside. My bar pot numbers here are 1 and 3. I like Flower Bomb. Don't watch her go down to the start, but I think that she certainly comes back all right. Her last run again just defied a penalty when running second behind Trumpy, who I think is going to win races on the half files. And number 1, Flower Bomb's just doing nothing wrong. She's become a very likeable horse. I think the way that she moves down to the start probably makes her more popular than what she ought to be, because she's just a bad mover, but she comes back all right. Chase Mojan, as you say, takes a ride, and he gets on very well with his daughter, Avi Rupp. The last run, I think, sets her up nicely. Number 3, Big Eyed Girl, I can't believe that she won a 1,200 meter race. It was the second time in her career that she went past 1,000 meters. The reason why she had never done that prior was because she can't breathe. She's got all sorts of issues, and the moment she goes over 1,000 or went over 1,000 meters, further than 1,000 meters, she made a horrible noise. So here we go. Last time 1,200 meters with the pacifiers on, and clearly worked to charm. So maybe that's the oracle with number 3, Big Eyed Girl. It's worth experimenting. Of the other Johan Janssen van Vuren horses, very interesting between 5 and 6, Mythical Dream and Cosmic Star. I think you're right. I think number 5, Mythical Dream, probably got more natural ability than number 6, Cosmic Star, but Cosmic Star's last run stands him in good stead. He's got a lovely action as number 6, Cosmic Star. The way that he won his penultimate start to Let's Do It was very encouraging, because he was in the open 800 meters out and he stomped his way to the lead and never looked like losing. So there's something about him as well. But number 1 and 3, those are the horses I'm going to have a good look at in race number 6.
Yeah, those are certainly the horses that bring in the best form into the race. And yeah, 1 and 3 to possibly fight it out in race number 6, but include horse number 5, Mythical Dream, into the mix. Race 7, the penultimate race on the day, over 1,400 meters. This is a 71 divided handicap for the fillies and mares. And when we have a look at the fixed odds betting market here, it is Mishavi at 15-10. Maboneng at 22-10 after she ran second during the week, although well beaten behind Spring Will Come, who looked to be a horse that would struggle in the maidens. He won a maiden, and then he's now won 2 races, so that's a good thing for connections there. Fur Baby at 5-1, and then it's 12-1 and better bar those. Now, I think this is the type of race where we've got to take a stance, and are we going to be with a 2-year-old, or are we going to be against her? I think she's got more ability than this lineup here, and despite 59 kgs on the back, we saw that horse, the Kawe Lami, I think it was, win during the week with 61 kgs, and that was over 1,000 meters. I think this filly's got quite a bit of ability, Alistair, and I think that she'll go very close to winning here.
I think she's got more ability than anything else in this race, Raheel. So I'm singing from the same hymn sheet. I don't particularly like the race, because if you look past Mishavi, you get the same old suspects who have been running against each other with the same type of results. Obviously, they're rating for a reason. And the weight for age scale for a 2-year-old being 9 kilos brings number 2, Mishavi, right into the picture here. I think if Maboneng runs, she probably wins. She ran a good race on Thursday when going to the front and just caught it late, finishing second. So, you know, one to keep an eye on, number 5, Maboneng. But I think number 2, Mishavi, with the improvement factor, is the horse they all need to beat. Bitcoin Baby punched well above her weight last time in that race, rather, to Mishavi, but she exited the maidens. That Bitcoin Baby Baby. They were well clear of the third placed horse. I think going 1,400 metres has probably been the answer with number 2, Miss Shavy, and I think that her improvement factor will carry her across the line. Respect number 1, Fur Baby. The 5 Maboneng runs put her into everything, and I think number 7, Speechmaker, should run into the first 4 as well, with Marco van Rensburg reclaiming the saddle on this daughter of Oratoria, trained by an informed Heather Adamson. I can see her getting into the money, but I think just the 2-year-old that's going to improve, number 2, Miss Shavy, will be a hard horse to beat.
Yeah, I'm going to include horse number 9, Run for Isla, into those exactas at 20 to 1 in the market. She is drawn 1. She enjoys the course and distance, and she could try to make all of the run in here. And she could possibly just come up with the final bit, but I think she's a horse that each way out to include into trifectas, exactas, and swingers, those type of bets. She'll certainly give those a boost. Race number 8, the final race on the day, which is an MR74 handicap. That goes off at 20 past 4, 1,600 meters a trip. Napoleon, your favorite, at 28 to 10. Free movement at 4 to 1. Who finally got out the maidens last time out. He looked to be a horse that was going to be a brass, but he got the job done. And yeah, can he follow up out the maidens? What do you think of the race, Alistair?
Well, how many times have we seen a horse battle to win, suddenly win, and then go on a streak coming out of the maidens with a reasonable handicap mark? So from that point of view, I respect number 1, Free Movement. But I think the horse they all need to beat here, I'm going to throw an absolute spanner in the works. A horse that's been on my radar for a long time, much like the Nkosana was, and I missed the boat on Thursday. Number 7, The Chosen One. Out of draw number 1, the ratings come from an 80 down to a 60. His penultimate start, he showed signs of life when running 4.5 lengths behind Sage King. I'm not sure he stayed 1,800 meters last time, so I think coming back to a mile is likely to work out for this son of Louis the King. I think off a lightweight in a race that won't take much winning, I'd rather go with a horse of a lightweight that might sort of be at the right mark than a horse that looks like they kind of improving, but they're not, because, you know, their ratings are 76, 74 and 70. I think tells you exactly where they are. I think Shilpa's Moon beat a weak maiden last time when everything was handed to her on a silver platter, so it'll be interesting to see if she can back that up on the Turffontein stand side track. She's got enough form to recommend. I'll put her into the pick 6, but it won't be easy taking on these older boys. Miss Shavy at least takes on girls a race earlier, so that's a bit of an off-putter for number 5, Shilpa's Moon, but every reason that she can back that up, to be fair. I think the biggest danger, when I say the biggest danger to the Chosen One, I think the Chosen One's a danger to himself, but I think other horses that are worth including, definitely number 2, Silvano Song, going back to a mile. I think he's an interesting one, number 2, Silvano Song. Not that he's very good, but I think that there's something there, and a win can't be too far away. It's probably just a matter of getting to the bottom of him and working out his happy medium. 3, Napoleon, has to go in. If I like the Chosen One, I've got to like number 3, Napoleon. Tony Peters in unreal form, and then number 1, Free Movement as well, just because the back of a win, maybe he now knows what he has to do, so I wouldn't let him run loose. So those are the horses I'm going to revolve around, but in each way play on the final race, number 7, The Chosen One.
Yeah, I'm with you on number 7, The Chosen One. 15 to 1 in the market, pole position draw. Hopefully Nathan Klink can just extract a bit more of this individual. After all, he is the one that won the maiden aboard horse number 7, The Chosen One. So that's going to be the each way play in the final race on the day. Alistair, thanks very much for your time. 8 races on a Sunday out at Turffontein, and hopefully we've managed to guide the guys in the right direction.
Yep, cheers, Raheel. I hope so too. Yeah, it's going to be an early start, driving back up to Joburg to call this meeting. 20 past 12 is the off time of race number 1, but I've seen far worse cards, so hopefully it all clicks and goes according to plan.
All the best to you guys on Sunday. Hopefully Saturday does treat you well at Hollywoodbets Greyville, and you manage to catch the pick 6. It's the bet that we all want to catch, especially on Hollywoodbets Durban July Day with that massive pool. But all the best on Sunday out at Turffontein.